One quiet night in New York City, Spider-Man was swinging through the skyline when a sudden burst of bright purple light flashed in the distance. It blinked for only a second, but was strange enough to catch his attention. Curious and a little uneasy, he veered toward the source. When he arrived, he found a rooftop that looked like it had been torn apart. Cautiously, he called out to see if anyone was there. No answer. The silence was eerie. Everything about this felt wrong, but in true Spider-Man fashion, he went in anyway. Inside, the place looked abandoned. Dust-covered floors, outdated equipment, and no signs of life. But then he spotted something bizarre. A strange device emitting a glowing purple beam. The machine looked like a Frankenstein mix of tech, except some of the components had the unmistakable Stark Industries logo. As he looked around, more oddities caught his eye. Random jewelry, some high-end gear, and then a clear dome-shaped helmet. Instantly, he recognized it. Mysterio. Just as the realization hit, his spider sense flared. He spun around, too late. Mysterio swung a metal pipe at him. Spider-Man raised the helmet just in time to block the hit. It shattered. He dodged the next swing and landed a solid kick, sending Mysterio flying. He pinned him down, demanding answers. But Mysterio fought back, kicking Spidey off and reaching for a nearby gun. Spider-Man fired a web, trying to disarm him, but it latched onto a computer instead, yanking the whole system. His next web pulled Mysterio toward him, and with a solid punch to the gut, he knocked the villain down again. Breathing hard, Mysterio looked up and muttered, "You have no idea who you're dealing with, or what I'm capable of." Spidey webbed him up. "You're right. I don't care." But then Mysterio whispered something strange. "I missed my chance last time, when Spider-Man died. But not this time." That line froze Peter. What was he talking about? He brushed it off as another one of Mysterio's insane ramblings for now. Turning his attention to the purple beam, he figured it looked like some kind of unstable energy generator. Not too dangerous? Probably. If needed, he could call Tony or Reed Richards. But before he could take a closer look, Mysterio broke free, just enough to grab the gun again. He fired, missed Spider-Man, and hit the device. It sparked violently, then began pulling everything in like a black hole, Spider-Man included. When Peter opened his eyes, he was lying on a rooftop, but not the one he'd just been in, and it was daylight. A second ago, it had been night. He assumed it had to be one of Mysterio's illusions. But no gas, no hallucinations. Still disoriented, he broke into the same building again, expecting to find Mysterio. Instead, he found someone's apartment. A woman stepped out of the bathroom, screamed, and threw a towel at him. Mortified, Peter bolted out the window. What the hell was going on? As he tried to make sense of things, he spotted a mugging in progress. Instinct took over. He swooped down, knocked out the muggers, and helped the victim up. But the guy looked him over and said, "Thanks, but your costume sucks." Peter blinked. "Peter Parker wore that suit," the man added. "Get your own look." That stopped Peter cold. How did he know his name? He stayed silent and let the guy walk away. Shaken, he decided to head to his apartment. Maybe there were answers there. But before he could get far, he spotted someone swinging beside him. Fast, agile, wearing a Spider-Man suit. Another Spider-Man. It was Miles Morales. Back in the original dimension, Mysterio came to, furious. Once again, Spider-Man had gotten in his way. As he checked the damaged machine, he realized Spider-Man had gone through the portal. He smirked. He strapped on his VR gear, syncing with a remote-controlled bot suit, and sent it through the beam, ready to control the battle from a safe distance. Meanwhile, Peter and Miles were sizing each other up. Peter thought Miles might be a clone. He shot a web. Miles dodged. Then they fought. Miles was freaking out. He was meeting Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man. Peter stayed cautious. The kid was skilled but weirdly familiar. Then Miles hit him with a venom blast. Peter dropped. When Peter came to, he was in a cell with Nick Fury. But not his Nick Fury. This one was bald, scarred, and definitely not white. Fury let him out, introduced him properly to Miles, and explained a few things. Peter learned that this world's version of Peter Parker had died. For real. He didn't get much time to process that, because the helicopter they were flying in got hit. It was Mysterio. Peter and Miles bailed out midair, saving the pilot before landing to confront him. Miles charged but got tossed like a rag doll. Mysterio unleashed a massive laser blast, sending them both flying into a bay. The water began swirling. Mysterio had poured something in. and out came villains. Real ones. Doc Ock, Hulk, nightmarish enemies. But Peter realized the pendant Mysterio held was behind it all. It turned fears into physical illusions. Peter snatched it. The enemies vanished. But Mysterio's bot kept ranting. Miles, frustrated, demanded answers. He didn't realize the real Mysterio was still safe in another dimension. Suddenly, the bot exploded, launching them both. Hours later, Miles woke up at HQ with the Ultimates, the Avengers of his world. Tony Stark examined the bot. It was just an avatar. Using it, they could trace the original signal. Miles asked, "Where's Peter?" Fury just nodded toward the door. "Where do you think?" Peter had gone off alone. He still believed this might all be one of Mysterio's tricks. He tried returning to his apartment, but it wasn't there. Instead, a bodega stood in its place. Inside, he asked to use an iPad. He looked up his own name and found a front-page article, Peter Parker, Remembering a Hero. It crushed him. As he left, he noticed the cashier wearing a necklace with Spider-Man's mask. She told him it was in honor of Peter Parker. When he asked what happened to him, she went quiet. Elsewhere, outside a house with a for sale sign, Aunt May and Gwen Stacy were preparing to leave. Then they saw him, Spider-Man. They freaked out. Aunt May yelled. Gwen called him a monster, but then he removed his mask. Peter, crying. They froze. Aunt May walked up and slapped him. Gwen screamed at him. She stomped and cursed. Miles showed up trying to calm things down. Peter kept apologizing. He didn't mean to come. It was an accident. Then Aunt May fainted. Later, she woke up at home, dazed. She heard voices upstairs. It was Peter, Miles, and Gwen, laughing. Peter had told them the wild story of when he swapped brains with Wolverine. Gwen told him her version of Peter had died, and Aunt May took her in. Then she asked Peter if he had a Gwen in his world. He said yes, but she was older. Then Gwen asked if he was dating her. Peter changed the subject fast. They started talking about MJ. Peter asked if she was a model yet. Gwen gave him a look. Aunt May entered. "Are you planning to live here now?" she asked. Peter explained again. It was all a mistake. He didn't belong here. She asked if she existed in his world. Peter nodded. "You and Uncle Ben raised me." Her face softened. "Is Ben still alive?" Peter lowered his head. "No, that's why I became Spider-Man, because I couldn't save him." She hugged him. Just then, a shield car pulled up. Fury knocked on the door. "It's time." Peter hugged Aunt May one last time. Gwen, too. As he stepped outside, he spotted her, Mary Jane, watching from across the street. When he called out, she ran. Inside the car, Miles asked if Peter had a Nick Fury in his world, too. Peter nodded. "Yeah, but he's white," Fury smirked. "Sorry to hear that." The car flew into the sky. Back on Earth, Mary Jane stayed in the shadows, crying. At SHIELD HQ, Peter and Miles worked with Tony on the portal machine. Peter recognized a building in one of Mysterio's videos. It was from his personal site, full of rants. That was enough for Fury. "Call everyone, we're ending this." In the original dimension, Mysterio was gloating. Peter was stuck. Everything was going according to plan. But the second he opened the portal again, Webb snagged him. He was yanked into the room. Both Spider-Men and the Ultimates were waiting. They beat him down. Hard. But just when it looked over, Mysterio broke free. He ran to the console, typed fast, and the machine exploded. He slugged Peter and shattered a vial, releasing gas. Hallucinations hit everyone. Mysterio ran. Miles chased him, and both were sucked into the collapsing portal. Miles landed in another version of New York, totally different. Mysterio was already waiting. He attacked. Miles dodged, turned invisible, and drop-kicked him back through the portal. Back in the original world, both Spideys unleashed their fury. Miles landed a venom sting. Mysterio dropped. Fury had him arrested and decided to keep him locked up in their world. Tony warned the portal was unstable. It would collapse in minutes. Peter said his goodbyes. Gave Miles one last piece of Spider-Man advice, something about dating. Then he stepped through the portal and vanished.